I'm at 5992 Crittenden Drive in Turpin Hills, doing a sanitary lateral inspection. They've had some backups, I say about every 6 months or so. They've had a recent cleaning again, and wanted to have a second opinion here. They had somebody come out and look at it, and believe that, you know, they just wanted to say, been told they may have to dig it up. It looks like, you know, there's been a belly marked and stuff. So I'm going to go out towards the street first and check the downstream side. The clean out here is in the front of the house. You can see we're below street level, and we're going to go straight out. Looks like it goes out under the steps, so we're going to go out downstream first and check those spots. It's cast iron right here. And it looks like it's already holding water. I mean, I am underwater already. And it looks like the water is very stagnant, meaning it's not flowing. So it very well could have sunk. There's some really kind of hard to see. What's going on? What I may try to do too is I may end up, probably what I'll do when I pull back, is I will try to put a standoff on this camera and see if that helps at all. To maybe try to lift the camera up out of the water a little bit, but this looks pretty drastic. The camera right now, the lens is only about a ½ inch off the bottom of the pipe, but it's also, you know, you can tell that the water level is pretty far above the camera lens. You can see the water level now. It's about half of the diameter of the pipe up there. I can see it. See just on the top right edge that is the edge of the water level, so it's at least half the pipe. This should be a 6-inch line, and there we go. And the strange thing that I'm seeing here is that it looks like this is a different material, like possibly this was replaced already. But it may just be the off color of the water sitting in there so long. So I'm going to check that. That was about 57 feet on the mark. It may not be perfect as far as there. We'll use the actual transmitter and locator on the camera to verify. That was about 57 feet. We'll check the rest of it and we'll see. That little bit of water is not an issue. Okay, looks like we're switching over to concrete pipe, which means we are off property. And this would be where MSD takes over here. And even this is pretty flat. And so we'll mark that also. I do think I may make a second run at this to try to get a better look at the amount of just how deep some of this is, because I'm sure the line has to be pretty flat to get out there to the main, unless that main is 20 feet deep, which it very well could be. But at the main. So I am going to mark, I'm going to go and get a locate real quick. I'm going to pause the video. Right about there, right before it drops into the main. I'm going to see how deep that main is out there and see kind of how much fall you would have between the house and the street. So again, I'm going to pause the video and go get a locate. Okay, so the main is actually across the street, which makes it even harder. This line's got to be pretty flat. And it's obvious by the bellies anyway. It didn't take much. There wasn't a whole lot of pitch on this to begin with. The main is only about 12.5 feet deep, and that's across the street. And we are probably sitting pretty close to that. The clean out is sitting pretty close to that, if you're in relation to the road. It's, you know, I'd say it's at least 10-11 feet. So they couldn't get a whole lot of pitch on this to get it to the main unless they took it down the street a little bit further, which they did not, obviously. So there is a lot of belly. Now the concrete here, all this concrete is property of MSD, and so from that main I'm going to, you know, show that this is flat and there is a little bit of bellies going on here, but this isn't the main issue. You could try to have them look at it, but I'm sure that they wouldn't do anything just yet. You would probably have to repair your side first before they would attempt to repair the belly in the street. But we'll take another look at this. I'm going to put a standoff on this, and we'll re-inspect, you know, this side, because we still have a pretty good belly there. But again, it's at least 6-inch pipe. Doesn't take much to cover the lens on this camera the way it's sitting, so I'm going to have to put a standoff on it to raise the camera up out of the water a little bit. Okay, so now we are back into the clay, so we're back on private property. I believe it was around 57 feet that we were out of the water, but let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to stop, locate this, see if this matches up with their locate. I have a feeling it will. It's not good news. They started with an extremely flat line to begin with, and it didn't take much for the line to sink a little bit. And then this is usually the result. I mean, you are on the side of a hill, so Gonna pause the video and get another locate. Okay, so this is marked. It's about 4.5 feet deep. That's the top of the pipe. So the invert, or the inside bottom of the pipe, is about 5 feet deep, and I'm going to try to mark this along the way. Stop here, get another locate. Need to push it just a hair further. Okay, turns right under the driveway, right at the edge. I'm going to pull back, and this goes all the way back to the clean out, or underwater. I mean, maybe they could start a little higher. I really can't. I don't see how they would even do that. I don't know why I said that. Would have to reconfigure this clean out and everything to be able to do that, I believe. So I'm all the way back at the clean out, and you can see that, I mean, as soon as you drop in, you're going right underwater. This whole thing is sunk. So I'm going to see if I can get this bad boy to turn and go upstream. I might be able to. Doesn't want to so far, because I'm going basically uphill in this. So far I can't get it to go upstream. I'm going to pause the video, see if I can use a little something to get it to go up there. Okay, I'm trying to use something to direct the camera upstream, but the way it drops into this clean out. Not really too confident that this is going to be able to go. Yep, so I'm not going to be able to get it to go back upstream. I mean, it seems like everything starts right here past the clean out. I am going to put a riser ball on it, and hopefully that'll fit through. If not, I have a little bit smaller one. But the biggest one I have is a riser ball that would be the best option as far as raising the camera up into the center of the pipe. We'll see if we can try that one first. Okay, hopefully this will fit through. Looks like it's going to. But again, it is, I mean, you can hear the water and the air escaping as I poke through this here, which is an indication that that water is high. So high that it's actually creating a vacuum. So it's at the top of the pipe. So definitely the belly right here by the clean out is pretty deep, at least 4 to 6 inches. So we are going to continue out and see if we are you know, how much sooner we come out of the pipe, or come out of the water, I'm sorry. Yeah, see, so we're at about 30 feet now. So at least we'll be able to see a little bit better, hopefully. And here's the turn at about 40 feet. Like I said, it's staying pretty consistent as far as the level is concerned. And we're still about, you know, 30% of the pipe there, so we're still, you know, probably 1.5 inches to 2 inches of water. You know, the best thing would try to avoid digging up that driveway. That's where a lot of the cost is going to come in. But, you know, we're still at a point where, you know, so I'm going to continue out. I'm going to look at that concrete again too and see how bad that belly is out there on the MSD side. Here we go in the concrete. So from here on, 88 feet out to the main is all owned by MSD. And so my camera's about in the middle of the pipe, so if it's, you know, covering the camera head, at this point we're, you know, 2.5, 3 inches of water. But for the most part, it looks like they probably won't do much about this. I mean, it's deep, so you could, you know, make a call. They would probably want you to fix your end of this first and see if the problem persists. But this is also a pretty deep belly. I mean, I'm sure this line, like I mentioned earlier, is pretty flat all the way out to be able to get to that main across the street with that depth. That main should have been, if the main was deeper, it wouldn't, they could have put a little more pitch on this line. Because I mean, even the stuff out in the street's got a pretty big belly in it. So, as you can see, and now we're at the main, again at 130 feet. So I mean, you've even got, you know, 40 feet of concrete that is very flat and has sunk a little bit, enough to create, you know, 2 inches of water in the line. So obviously the biggest problem is the very first, you know, 30 to 60 feet. The first 30 obviously are so bad that, you know, it's over 3 inches of water in a 6-inch pipe, and seems like there's one that's seems like there's enough that, in some cases it's the full 6 inches, and because obviously you can hear the air escaping and bubbling. Should be coming out of the concrete. There we go. 5. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to get one more locate here just to check this out. Okay, so we're turning right underneath the driveway. And so tell pretty big belly, so stop right here and get another locate. The surprising thing with all of this is that there were no roots. Normally in these situations you're going to find a lot of roots with the trees that are out there in these clay lines, but especially with all that water sitting in the, all the sewage sitting in the pipe, it'd be a good place to eat for the trees. So that is a pretty surprising part of this, but looks like the majority of the issue is from here to 57 feet or so. It's probably what needs to be replaced. So I'm gonna stop and get one last locate. Okay, it's about 2'10" or so, directly underneath the steps. I mean, the good news is it isn't very deep compared to a lot of other situations. It does get fairly deep as it gets out, but it starts at about 2.5 feet, 2 feet. This ball in the front of it. Let's see if I can get this to go upstream really quick. Okay, can't get it to go upstream, so bottom line is it is going to have to be replaced unless they want to keep messing with the having it cleaned every so often. Really, the biggest issue is that belly, and it seems like right when you enter, it must have dropped a lot. Like we talked about earlier, there is a big spot where it is the belly is so deep that you can hear the air getting trapped, so it's creating a it's trapping air. Basically, it's sealing off, so that means it's really deep, and that's right after you go into the clean out. So I'm going to recommend a repair, but most of the marks and stuff from the previous plumber are right on, and it looks like, you know, this will need to be replaced. But the again, main issue is from the clean out about 50 feet, which unfortunately goes underneath the driveway. So that'll end the inspection at 5992 Crittenden Drive.